Hey everyone, Josh Kirk here with you once again, and it's time for episode 210 of Album of the Day, which I know it's been a couple of weeks since I last did a review. I've been kind of busy lately. Doing stuff over the past few weekends. So I wasn't exactly ready. I wasn't exactly preparing to do reviews or anything like that. But now I'm back and I'm ready to do my next review. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Anyway, let's just get on with the review. Today's artist is a rapper who has been around since the early 2000s, and also serves as kind of the head, president of the record label known as Good Music, which of course is a hip-hop label founded by none other than Kanye West. His real name is Terrence Thornton, but everybody knows him under his stage name, Pusha T. Which I'm here to review his most recent album, which was released this year on May 25th, 2018. The album is called Daytona, and the reason why I don't have a CD or a vinyl in front of me is because I don't have a hard copy of this record. And there are hard copies that were just released, but couldn't find them at Soundgarden or stuff like that for some reason. But I definitely really wanted to review this album because it is definitely, in my opinion, one of the key rap releases of 2018. I mean, there's a reason why this album has kind of become Album of the Year on Metacritic. Because it certainly is a record that is not only delivering some of the best hip-hop of the year, but it is also kind of, changing typical kind of, boundaries of hip-hop. I mean, in the age of streaming and Spotify and all that, it is pretty easy for a rapper to just drop this overlong 90-minute sort of album. But Pusha T's latest album, Daytona, is rather 21 minutes, 7 songs. It's 7 songs, so it's kind of more an EP kind of platform. So that this album has sort of stirred up a lot of... Yeah, sorry, I just have some phlegm going on. So, this album has really started a lot of conversation in the music world, which involves album length. And, fittingly enough, Kanye's next few projects after this had kind of a similar sort of runtime, 7 songs and only 23 minutes. 23 minutes. But, the good news about this album being so short is that it sort of allows Push to sort of, get into some really big focus on his incredible bars, and for Kanye to focus very intricately on his very eclectic sample choices. I mean, opening track on this record, If You Know, You Know, incredible song, total banger. It starts out almost kind of a cappella, just like a little drum machine, and Push coming through with some incredible first bars. Pulling up on that new tie, on that new toy, the wrist on that boy, Rockstar, like Pink Floyd. Waving at you, boy. I'm waving at you, boy. Ran off on the plug too, like True Goy. Or imagine me do, boy. I mean, his flow on those first few bars is just incredible. Which makes his sort of rhyming that much more sort of memorable. And I like how it starts out just sort of with his bars almost a cappella, and then Kanye crashes in with these incredible wailing guitar samples, as well as this kind of peppy pitched up vocal sample. Vocal sample. I mean, this song definitely really sets the tone for the album, and it most certainly is, in my opinion, the best song on the album overall. So overall, right, and also some of my other favorite bars on here include, like, I just happen to be alumni, too legit, they're still looking at me with one eye. Where was you when Big Knees let the Tigers in? 'Cause I was busy wearing stripes like a tiger skin. True poeticism right there. Poeticism right there. In the song is just a perfect example of, you know, Kanye's beats and Push's lyrics sort of really balancing each other out, and neither one is stealing the show. The next track, The Games We Play, is pretty much a love letter to the drug dealer, which kind of makes sense, considering Pusha T is a pretty big spokesperson for that kind of coke rap movement that some people may call it. The song features these really cool, twangy guitar samples and kind of somewhat vintage horn stabs over some bars that are once again a very worthy follow-up to the amazing opening track. Some of my favorite bars in here include, like, ovens full of cakes that he bakes, still spreading paste. The love just accentuates the hate. This is for my bodybuilding clients holding weight. Just add water. Stir it like a shake. Sort of making, you know, some, you know, references to drugs and stuff like that. And sort of talking about how drug dealing is basically kind of, you know, the games that these sort of, you know, these are the games that these sort of, like, drug dealers sort of, you know, play every day, and they're sort of claiming they're, like, making enough money off of it and stuff like that. So it definitely is, like, a pretty quintessential street rap song for sure. So, and, like, street rap obviously plays a big influence in Pusha T's music. So it definitely is good to see him sort of playing off of that influence in a very strong way. The following track, I would say, is probably my one kind of weak spot on the record, which is the song Hard Piano. Like, this song, you know, it isn't bad or anything like that, but it definitely does pale in comparison to much of the material here, because, you know, Pusha T's bars on this track aren't quite as strong as they are for most of the album. First off, there is a pretty kind of cringy, like, opening line in the song. And Rick Ross's feature on the track was also kind of meh. I mean, it was okay, but, you know, didn't really stick with me. Though I do love the beat on the track. I mean, I like the kind of boogie-woogie piano samples on the track. And also, I thought that hook, that's how they ding you back from Santo Domingo, is pretty cool as well. But then Push kind of redeems himself on the next track, Come Back Baby, which opens up with a sample of what sounds like some sort of psychedelic rocker from the 60s, telling everyone that this song is for all the addicts out there who just can't leave those drugs alone. Which is some really nice symbolism for what the song sort of addresses lyrically. I mean, there are some incredible bars on here, like, me and my dope boys, we like kinfolk. Blew through thousands, we made millions, cocaine soldiers, once civilians. I mean, he really says this with some very commanding focus, for sure. I mean, focus, which really does show how, you know, without this album, you know, 2018 would be sort of lacking that sort of, important, urgent, like, somewhat political hip-hop statement. hip hop statement. I mean, this album is essentially becoming the Kendrick Lamar's Damn of essentially the Kendrick Lamar's Damn of 2018. 18. And then the song. So then the chorus of the song is basically some very generous sampling of the mighty Hannibal's "The Truth Shall Make You Free," but the kind of soulful sample and the lyrics of "Come back, baby, try me one more time. Ooh, baby, I'm about to go out of my mind." It's actually some really beautiful symbolism. I mean, the Kanye sort of samples this old school soul track that's about love and stuff like that, and uses it as symbolism for Pusha T's lyrics about sort of being around his neighborhood and sort of feeling kind of tried by everyone that he sees because they feel like he hasn't done enough for the community or something like that. Thing like that. So I like how, the samples in Pusha T's verses are pretty minimal, just kind of a rumbling kind of bass line and drum machine, and sort of leaves the, kind of big, and leaves it up to the chorus to sort of create the kind of focus on the instrumentation. A more somber moment on the record comes in the form of Santeria, another one of my favorite tracks on the album. Some very beautiful beats on the track, as well as some very beautiful kind of sad guitar samples on the track, and I also do love that kind of fuzzy, somewhat, that kind of fuzzy synthy bass line in there sounds really nice as well. And Pusha T's lyrics on the song, these are definitely by far some of the most melancholy and dark on the entire album. Beef. And I also do like the lines of, some of my favorite lines on here include stuff like, I am not sheep, I am just a street, I'm just a short stone's throw away from the streets, and I think he says Santeria after that. Yeah, and I love the line about, when you're kind of, dissing people in rap music, you're kind of creating some sort of, beef that you then heat with flat irons. It's a really nice metaphor there. But then the song, this instrumental drops out, and then we get this really kind of eerie chorus that's sung in Spanish by 070 Shake, which is a vocalist Kanye has been working quite a bit with lately. She appears on most of his projects that he's done in 2018. And then Push comes back with this verse where he's sort of in this case of kind of feeling some heartbreak and trying to, pray to a Holy Spirit, but yet it isn't helping him at all. He's sort of in a, phase of losing his mind. So this is by far Push at his most introspective on Daytona. And I also love the kind of, chilling organs that he puts, the chilling gospel organs that Kanye puts over the kind of, for the kind of chugging beat. Then we get a song that does feature a vocal contribution from Kanye, which is the song What Would Meek Do? The opening verse by Pusha T, of course, in the title, What Would Meek Do? It does sort of make references to Meek Mill, and there's a bar in the song that I really like that goes, like that goes Papa Wheelie, tell the judge Doc and Nelly, come with me, where he's sort of referring to Meek Mill kind of getting arrested for like violating like probation while on a set for a music video in, I think it was New York or something like that. I love Pusha's ability to sort of use these bars, because this is essentially kind of what he thinks Meek would say to the judge. I would say that this is one song on the album that I am kind of on the fence with. I mean, I love Push's verse on the first half of the track. Then Ye comes in with this really awkward like guest verse where he is sort of making references to his endorsement of Donald Trump, which of course is like very off-putting to listen to. Though I love his incorporation of the Yes sample on the track, and his shouts of poop, scoop are kind of hilarious. Then the album closes with the song Infrared, which this is the one song that is by far the most kind of talked about on the entire record, which makes sense because this song is like a little bit of a Drake, because this song literally is a very unapologetic, blunt diss at Drake, at the rapper known as Drake. Like he puts in lines in there such as, it was written by Nas, but it came from Quentin. But in a way, while his Drake diss certainly goes a little farther than like, I would want to go if I were a rapper and were writing a diss track for Drake. But he is in a way also at the same time somewhat agreeable and insightful about this diss, as he sort of praises the likes of Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, as well as sort of saying stuff like, how could you ever write these wrongs when you don't even write your songs? Songs. Very true right there, Push. Right there, Push. Yeah, and also, there is some other pretty, clever bars in here. For bars in here as well. Lines like, people look at me crazy like I really killed a baby. A baby. I mean, these lyrics are bound to leave a lasting impression on you, considering this is, by far the one of the most kind of unsettling Drake disses that we've pretty much heard in this time. The beat on the track is kind of minimal. Features this kind of dark sort of bass line, over a really cool drum machine as well. And also there are some pretty interesting vocal samples on the track too. Like I like that one that's sort of the hook of the song, Infrared. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's sort of like this kind of eerie hook in the background that really gives the song a really kind of really dope rhythmic pulse, I'd have to say. So overall, Daytona is definitely an amazing album. Pusha T's bars on this album are like near flawless. And this is kind of the rap album that sort of created this like new trend in hip hop, sort of creating this new sort of trend in hip hop where we're sort of realizing that we don't have to make 16-minute album. We don't have to put out 60 minutes of music in order to consider it an album. And also, this is definitely like some real deal. And also, I like how he, like, lyrically admits that this is real deal hip-hop going on this album. I mean, he does say in the games we play, this ain't a wave or a phase, because all that shit fades. Fades. Very true. Very true. I'd also like to, mention the diss track that followed up after Infrared on this album. Of course, Drake put out a response song called Duppy Freestyle, which was a Pusha T diss, which was a Pusha T diss. Push eventually followed it up with another diss track, The Story of a Did Yawn, and man, it is a diss track for sure. I mean, he makes it seem like nothing in Infrared, but at Didyon, he really gets to the point. And stuff like that. I'm not going to go into huge detail about that song, but I will tell you that, I highly recommend checking it out. But if you listen to Drake, warning, this is gonna hurt. Gonna hurt. But yeah, like anyway, aside from that, Daytona is an amazing album. Definitely check it out sometime. Check it out sometime. Definitely going with a strong 8 out of 10 on this album. 10 on this album. I mean, it's literally like that strong, and it's definitely not much more I can say other than if you know, you know. And I'll see you for episode 211.